video today before I head back to London tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a 4-day thing with a couple of Christians guys, which I'm really looking forward to. But something that I've noticed in comments in my videos and definitely other people's as well is just how easy it is for people to compare themselves to other guys who are going out and cold approaching. And it got me thinking about experiences that I've had in my life and definitely the lives of the guys that I've worked with over the years. So we're talking about like coaches and your normal, genuine, down to earth guy who's got a normal job and a normal life to be part of. And it got me thinking about how easy it is for us to just compare ourselves to other people. And in a way, it can put us down and maybe not even take the chance or risk at doing something because we simply talk ourselves out of it and say, oh, I will never be as good as that dating coach, or I will never be as good as that other guy who has been doing it for a really long time. So I've just written a couple of notes here because, again, with my memory like a goldfish, I'm going to just easily forget stuff. So it's great that I get a bullet point bits and pieces. But I want to first of all or go over, I think, two particular areas where guys do compare themselves and just kind of talk about them really. And then in the second part of this, what can guys do about it to actually stop themselves from comparing themselves to other guys? So, first area I want to look at is that guys just simply compare themselves to other dating coaches. Now, you get people who, for whatever reason, they haven't had the best social life, they've come out of a bad relationship or a breakup, and they've come to the conclusion of like, you know what, I'm done with my current routine with dating and I want to try something new. So maybe even like they've been using dating apps and they've realized, right, that's a load of crap. I want something better. So they, for whatever reason, or in whatever way, I should say, they come across dating coaches. I mean, most men, I think, discover the world of pickup because they were probably sitting on Amazon looking for a book to find out how to talk to girls, and they come across Neil Strauss's book, The Game, which I think for about 90% of the guys that I've met over the years have all come into pickup because of that book. And then I guess more in like recent times, that has certainly evolved more into people finding the dating industry through YouTube videos, and watching coaches doing infield approaches and getting results that way. But, most guys, they came in because they read Neil Strauss's book and they found this. Now, what guys then don't seem to consider is that once upon a time, all these dating coaches also started from scratch. They either were really geeky, they had no social skills, they had no confidence, they had mental health issues, so that they had all sorts of reasons, is where I'm getting at, that prevented them from believing that they could talk to women. And so they put themselves out there and they did like crazy amount of approaches, had a crazy amount of experience as well. And that led to them getting to a point that they just loved how pickup was working in general. And they wanted to master it. They wanted to be the experts in their niches, get really good, and eventually be able to coach other people how to do it as well. So of course, I kind of say all that because of course then you'll get the guys who they'll come into the industry, they'll meet a coach who has been now doing it for maybe like 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they'll be like, oh, that person is just way too good looking, or they've got great fashion sense and style, or they've got this sexual energy about them that's just clearly going to get them all of the best results, and all this and that. And they will literally put this coach on a pedestal and completely disregard the fact that that person once upon a time started from scratch. So don't compare yourself to someone who has put the effort and time into that personal growth and development. You can absolutely do it yourself if you also spend that much time on doing it. But this is something that also guys do struggle with. They don't have that time. Unlike with dating coaches who they don't have, well, I'll be kind of brutally honest. They don't have actual proper jobs. They are just someone who takes guys out on the street and can help them with their confidence to talk to people. And because they've done it so well and they can do it with such conviction and confidence, they are the experts at it. They are professionals at it, and they can then pass that on to other people. But again, it just make me laugh when guys forget about all of that. They think like, oh, I'll never get that good. It's like, well, don't knock yourself. You've got to put the effort in and try. Speak to people, go through the highs and lows of talking to strangers, get rejected, embrace rejection even. And then at some point, you will become desensitized to it, and then you will be at a level that the dating coaches are at. So for new guys coming into this, don't worry about comparing yourself to the people who have been doing it for a long while. The people who have these YouTube channels, especially ones that I've worked with and helped them grow their channels with, don't compare yourself to them. Learn from them. Look at, with each individual coach, what do you like and what don't you like, and learn the things that make them great, the things that you resonate with, whether it be their personality, their charisma, their charm even. And when you can do that, you can start absorbing just those bits of information that eventually will just make you this guy who could maybe once upon a time, one day, be a dating coach, if you pursue that route, of course, but hopefully not. I think we've got enough really great dating coaches out there. And although saying that, you know what, I know I wouldn't turn down if there was a new generation of dating coaches who came to me to help them grow their businesses. So as long as guys are coming forward and helping guys, that's the main thing. So okay, before I go on my tangent, so guys shouldn't compare themselves to coaches. The coaches have been doing it for a very long time. They've gone through every experience possible to get them to where they are today. Now, the other thing that guys do is that they compare themselves to other men who are also in the industry. Now, I'm not someone who's an expert with these like different pill colors, the red, blue, black, and all of that. I don't really sort of follow that. But what I do kind of like grasp with what guys struggle with is that they then compare themselves to guys who are better looking than them, who maybe have a better fashion sense, who maybe have a better like job role and status, all these, I'm going to say, superficial things that that guys believe like, oh, if you don't have that, then you might as well just give up on dating. Like if I'm an ugly guy, what's the point in even trying? Now, if there's one thing that I can say that I have seen over the years, which as a guy, or for us guys, which we can be counting ourselves very lucky with, is that because of just with how attraction works, women are very emotional creatures. And if you can learn with attraction to actually play with that emotion, every kind of guy can get a good result. Even the ugliest of guys can get good results with women. But of course, that doesn't stop guys when they come into the industry, they'll just compare themselves to someone who's better looking than them. Now, there's always guys who are better than looking than them. Now, I consider myself a pretty average looking guy, and I get good results when I put the effort into doing cold approaching. And I have had some great relationships from doing pickup and cold approaching over the years. But when I surround myself with a lot of dating coaches, I genuinely believe that the dating coaches are a lot better looking than me. In all honesty, I do believe every dating coach that I've worked with over the years is much better looking than me. I think they've got better fashion, especially if I'm out filming with them. I essentially dress like a cameraman because I find it more comfortable to wear clothes that help me with filming that, and also I'm not going to ruin anything. But oh, what's going on here? We've got like a weird glitch thing going on. Oh, that is weird. What is going on here? What on earth? Okay, my video seems to be like weirdly glitching. So now I have no idea if you guys can hear me or not. Hang on, I'm gonna have to have a look at this on my laptop because that is just super weird. It's like frozen like a split second on screen. Oh God, that looks awful. That looks awful. It's like I'm doing some like weird like crazy frog dance on camera. Okay, and now I've got an echo of me. So okay, so for some reason the actual video seems to have like frozen, but you can at least still hear my voice. So that I suppose is at least something. Yeah, I'll have to just kind of go with that then for now. Um, but point being is that guys compare themselves to each other, and it's only going to knock their confidence when they go out to speak to people. Like if you're going out with a friend of yours who's maybe better looking than you, or maybe he's got a better fashion sense than you, then that's just going to mean when you're out, you're going to just be jealous or envious of him as you're practicing approaching together. And when that happens, you're just going to distract yourself. You're not going to be focusing on the conversations that you're having. And that's only going to just stress you out even more, knowing that your friend is getting better results than you and you are just struggling. And that's just simply because you keep thinking in your mind, God, he's just better looking than me. He's going to get better results than me. He's going to get ahead of me. Oh, I'm going to fall behind. He's going to end up just like forgetting about me. He's going to move on. He's going to just be spending time probably with other guys who are much better at cold approaching than me. And yeah, it's just going to spiral out of control. And that's not really fair on you if you're brand new to this and all you do is compare yourself to other people. So, what can you do about it? Well, first of all, just accept the level that you're at and decide where you want to be. So, if you're brand new to cold approaching, accept, you know what? I'm not very good at doing cold approaching. So, I need to put in the practice and effort to get really good and put myself on the same level as these other guys. And as for the kind of level that I want to get to, I want to be at a level where I can be having X amount of dates per week, or I can be spending a certain amount of hours approaching and be getting decent results. Now, even then, when you go out, even the best guys will tell you that it is a lottery when you are going out and cold approaching people. You have absolutely no idea if you're going to have a good day, a bad day, if you're going to get rejected constantly, or if every person that you speak to, you're going to get a phone number. Maybe even you're going to keep stopping people who are constantly in relationships, or maybe you might be very lucky and they are all single. But all of that, though, is completely out of your control. So the only thing you can control is just how you perceive the situation. So accept where you're at and decide where you want to be. Don't worry about thinking about where everyone else is, whether it be a dating coach or even if it's going to be the other guys that you're going out with. Maybe if it's someone who you've met who's going to be a wing, which, okay, the video's frozen, so I'm going to say an abbreviation, if they're a wing. But ideally, if you can be going out with a best friend or a friend of yours and you want to practice cold approaching together, that is actually probably one of the best things that you can do because it takes the pressure off. You want to support each other. You want each other to grow and get really good at talking to strangers. So don't be afraid to go out with friends or ask a friend who's maybe not even interested in cold approaching just to give you that support very early on and just say like, look, I want to learn to be able to speak to women in public. Can you just like give me some moral support when we go out? And I'm pretty certain, like, if you've got a really good friend by your side, then they'll be more than happy to give you that support. And hell, you could probably bribe them with like a beer or something, and that will most likely help you get them out as well. But also, and this is something to definitely consider, especially as this last point, is why not consider actually spending time with people who are better than you? So rather than comparing yourself to these people and seeing it as, oh, I'm never going to get good as them, why not embrace the fact that they are better than you and instead want to spend more time with them, want to have that osmosis effect kick in, where the more time that you are spending around people who are very good at cold approaching, then the better and faster you are going to get with cold approaching. So it's the process called osmosis. Hilariously, I actually learnt that word through a Sabrina the Teenage Witch episode. Like, I think we're probably going back like 2 decades ago here. But osmosis is a fantastic skill to get really good at anything. It's why people go to like personal trainers for advice on things in the gym. You know, why try and stand there and figure out for hours upon hours or months go by and you don't get the results that you want in the gym? Going to an expert who knows how to use the right workouts, how to use the right gym equipment and do the right kind of exercises, they will get you those results faster. And it's the same thing even with cold approaching. Like, even if you don't want to go to a dating coach or an expert to help you with cold approaching, then spend time with people who have been doing it for a while, who are a little bit more established with it, who are used to it, who have maybe done it for years, who have more of a routine in place. And if it's not the skill that you want to develop, try and look at how they've developed their conviction with wanting to cold approach. You know, you get guys who, for whatever reason, with them knocking their own confidence with approaching, they see it as like, oh, well, I just haven't got the time in the day to go and cold approach. But then you will meet guys who have like, I don't know, I'm going to say like 9 to 7 kind of jobs. And even then, after they come out of work and they are absolutely exhausted, they still find the time and energy to actually approach. And then where you've got these guys who maybe are a bit more lazy or they just haven't got that kind of motivation, maybe spending time with someone who has that motivation and energy is the perfect thing to actually train you to be better. So don't compare yourself to other guys. Embrace that difference. Embrace the fact that you aren't very good or you're at a level or skill level that isn't where you want to be, but you want to be spending time with people who are at that level and that you can try and develop the skill to match them. And the best thing you can do is really to try and do your homework or spend time with them and discover what it is that they're doing to get such good results. And from that, implement it and put the effort and time into practicing that. And whatever that looks like to you, some guys have all of the time in the world. Like, I know a lot of entrepreneurs who are very flexible with their days and hours. And if they want to have a day off to go and cold approach, they can do it. Whereas you've got the guys who do the 9 to 5 and they don't have that freedom. And maybe it's only the weekend that they can do the approaching. Every guy is different. So it's a matter of learning how to incorporate the skills that you want to develop into your daily routine. And that is entirely down to you. And to be honest, I know when people have asked me, you know, is there a right or wrong with this? And there isn't. It's what works for you. How quickly or what pace, there you go, that's the word I'm looking for. What pace can you learn things at? And if you can only do 1 day a week, getting good practicing talking to women, then do 1 day. If you can do a week, so 7 days a week to practice cold approaching women, do that. If you can only do an hour a day, do that. If you can do 7 hours a day, do that as well. It's whatever works for you. But just remember, though, that comparing yourself to other people isn't going to make you any better. It's not going to speed up this process. Everyone finds their own rhythm with practicing cold approaching, and it's from that that they then get good with women. So don't tend to judge a book by its cover. Just because you've seen someone do absolutely amazing things on YouTube, or if you've got friends who are really good at talking to strangers, don't compare yourself to them. or try your best not to. Instead, embrace the fact that you love that they have put that effort into their cold approaching skill, and ask them, what did you do to get that good? And what would you recommend that I do to get that good? And I think from that, you'll find that little mindset shift will do wonders for how you learn to develop in this area. So I really hope this video or live stream was useful. I do apologize that the video stream has frozen. For me, it's just literally still repeating this same few seconds over and over again, which is incredibly disorientating in all honesty. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. Are you someone who has compared yourself to dating coaches in the past, or to other guys who have gone out and cold approached? And how has that made you feel? And perhaps as well, I'd love to hear how you've shifted your mindset, and how are you doing now that you're actually thinking, right, I actually want to learn from these people. I want to try and understand exactly what makes them tick and try and spend whatever time I can with them to actually get really good. So again, whether that's a dating coach, which, okay, you might have to spend some money on to actually get that experience, especially if you want to get the results faster or sooner than later, or on the cheap, spend time with friends or other guys in the community who are really good and proficient with this, and learn to think the way that they think. So I'd love to hear your thoughts underneath the video on how they've been for you. And also, if you haven't already, please do like the live stream, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to have to absolutely figure out why on earth this video screen did freeze, but I do hope though that you guys have been able to hear me and just stare at like a single screenshot for the second half of this live stream. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Dan, that dating anxiety guy, and I will be putting out certainly more videos over the next coming weeks. I've got a lot of stuff planned, and I'm also going to do more live streams, and hopefully they aren't going to have me frozen as well.